You ever seen one of them Premier League prediction videos where motherfuckers try and embarrass themselves by trying to predict which teams are going to finish where? Yeah, well, this is one of them videos.
50 Cent, Shady.
So, coming in at the 20th position, we have Burnley. Now, the main reason I think Burnley will finish bottom and ultimately get relegated is Kyle Walker. As we've all seen with Walker, whether it be at Man City, AC Milan or England, he is well past his sell-by date. And for me, he's the wrong kind of Premier League experience you need when it comes to surviving as a new team in the Premier League. I like the other signings like Fleming and Humphreys, but ultimately I think they will struggle and find it difficult to adapt in the new league, especially given the circumstances Burnley will be under, playing every game mostly without the ball. For those reasons, they are my prediction to finish bottom of the league. Coming in at 19th, we have Leeds. Now, granted, Leeds have spent more money than Burnley in the transfer window so far, but with them, I can see them struggling massively defensively. We all remember the last time Leeds were in the Premier League and how entertaining they were going forward, but at the back, what an absolute shambles they were. And me personally, I don't see that improving much under Daniel Farke, especially when you look at his track record with newly promoted teams. It's not looking good, bro. Coming in at 18th, we have Wolves. Wolves, for me, this is a long time coming. And so far, they've spent a limited amount in the transfer window, mainly down to PSR. As well as that, they've lost huge players for them, like Ain't Nori and Cunha. And without players like these, I just can't see them scoring enough goals to ultimately keep them in the league. So, that concludes my bottom three. Burnley, Leeds and Wolves are my picks to get relegated going into next season. Coming in at 17th, we have Sunderland. Listen, this may surprise a few people, but I do think Sunderland will be the one team out of the three new promoted teams to stay up this season. They've also signed my boy, haven't they? Granit Xhaka. Unlike Walcott, isn't past his sell-by date, having just come off the back of winning the league title with Bayer Leverkusen. And trust me, he's going to have a lot to offer for them going into next season. Coming in at 16th, we have Brentford. Brentford, who as we all know, have lost some key figures for next year, including the main man, Thomas Frank, their manager, Kinder Bueno to Man United, and damn, Norgard to the mighty Arsenal. So I believe these key departures and squad uncertainty will be why they probably will struggle next season, but will have enough to stay up. Coming in at 15th, we have West Ham. Graham Potter only picked up 23 points in the 19 games he had as the new manager of West Ham. So for me, they're definitely going to have some performance issues. And then you have the loss of Kudos, who's gone to Spurs, and they haven't really made many signings in the transfer window, apart from Callum Wilson, who West Ham fans may not like, but I think he could do very well next season if they keep him fit, which is a big if, as we know Callum Wilson's injury record. Coming in at 14th, we have Everton. Everton, who I think will have a steady season under David Moyes, who, as we saw when he came in halfway through the end of last season, they smashed it. They performed really good. And I think they'll have a big boost moving into the new stadium going into next year, which is why I think they'll finish 14th. You know, good season for them. Coming in at 13th, we have Crystal Palace. Listen, Palace coming off for that massive win in the FA Cup. And I think, yeah, there will be real momentum at the club, especially with the manager, who I like. And I think, yeah, they could do really well next season. Of course, there could still be a few outgoings, you never know. But yeah, Palace to finish 13th for me. Coming in at 12th, we have Brighton. They have a decent early run of games, especially looking ahead at the game on September the 20th. Yeah, they have a decent squad, even though they've lost João Pedro. They've got a half-good manager, who is also very annoying. But yeah, Brighton in at 12th for me. Coming in at 11th, we have Bournemouth. Now, we all know they had a great season last year, Bournemouth, so it will be hard to replicate that, especially after losing Kirkes and Huijsen to Real Madrid. But I do have faith in Iriola and the way his team likes to play. Coming in at 10th, Manchester United. Now listen, I'm being really generous here when I say this, especially after the shambles we saw last season. For me, Amorim just isn't it as a manager for this club. And this 3-4-3 system he is going to play, because he's too stubborn to change, just is not going to work going into next year. And we'll get found out exactly the same way it did last season for the few games he managed. I mean, they scored a record low of goals last season. And I know they've signed these big players, Cunha and Mbeumo, but how many goals realistically do we think these men will add to the team? For me, that club is a shambles from top to bottom, and Amorim and the signings they made, they ain't going to make one bit of difference. There'll be a slight improvement on finishing 15th last year, but as I said, 10th is very generous from what I've seen so far under this geezer. And I've not even mentioned the shambles of a defence they have. Anyway, moving on. Coming in at 9th, we have Fulham. I think Fulham will have a good season, you know. They got their record highest points total last year of 54. And I think, yeah, they're due another good, decent season. I think the squad they have is stable. And the manager they have is good and knows how to navigate them throughout the course of the season. Coming in at 8th, we have Nottingham Forest. Again, we all saw the late dip they had last season when ultimately they bottled Champions League football. But I do think they will have another good season, even with games in Europe in the Conference League. I think they'll be able to cope. And what gives me hope about Forest is that their owner is very ambitious. Whether you like him or not, he's very ambitious and he won't let standards drop. We've already seen that with the Morgan Gibbs-White situation. Coming in at 7th, we have Tottenham. Now, I'm not one to speak too much of my rivals. Coming in at 6th, Newcastle. AKA rejected United. Now, I cannot believe the amount of players that have turned down Newcastle in this transfer window and even going back further. I mean, especially when you look at the state of the club, having just won their first trophy in 70 years and also playing in Champions League football. But for me, with a lack of signings, I do think they'll just miss out on Champions League football next year. More because the teams above them, I think, just have a better squad and have done business in this transfer window, unlike them so far. So for me, Newcastle will miss out and they'll finish 6th. Coming in at 5th, we have Aston Villa. Listen, I think under Unai Emery, they'll have another solid season. And yes, there's not been any big name signings so far this window, but I do think they have a highly competitive squad. They do need to keep Watkins though. Coming in at 4th, Chelsea, aka the £1 billion bottle jobs. Now, Chelsea's transfer list is that long, you could write a novel on it. I saw people getting gassed over the Club World Cup, which is basically a glorified friendly against the PSG team that's been playing football for over 18 months with no breaks. From what I saw there and the transfers they made, I still don't think their squad is better than the 3 teams I put above them, which is why I'm saying Chelsea 4th. See you later. Coming in at 3rd, we have Arsenal. Yes, I know, I'm such a positive Arsenal fan, eh? Putting my own team 3rd going into next season. Listen, it ain't about being optimistic, it's about being realistic. And for me, if I'm being totally honest, 3rd is the best I can give Arsenal. I mean, we've all been crying out for a striker for how long now? And we finally got one in Gyökeres. But I just still can't get over the other transfers that we've made, especially the ones coming from Chelsea. You look at so many other players out there who have been better fit for this squad. But transfers aside, I still do struggle to see how Arteta will finish above Pep and Slot going into next year, especially after what we've seen in the past 3 seasons. So let's hope I am wrong. Coming in at 2nd, we have Liverpool. Liverpool, who we've all seen, have been very busy in this transfer window. For me, I just can't see them retaining the title. I mean, they've never done it in Premier League history, won back-to-back leagues. I think they will miss Trent Alexander-Arnold a lot more than what is being said. And I think the other signings they've made will take a bit more time to adapt than what people think. I mean, listen, I still fully expect Liverpool to challenge for the league. They've still got an incredible squad, but I just don't think they'll be able to retain it. That's all. Coming in at first, we have Manchester City. Yes, for me, I think Man City will end up being Premier League champions going into next season. And the main reason for that being is the Pep factor. You look back at the previous season, he has not won the league in the 16-17 and 19-20 seasons respectively. He's always come back the following season and smashed it out of the park. And listen, they have been proactive in the market. They've made a number of key signings and they have Rodri to come back in, which will be a huge plus for them. But this is still Man City and you just have to look at their track record over the past few years. So for me, yes, Man City 25-26 Premier League champions. So yes, that is my Premier League prediction video of what I think will happen going into next season. Could be absolutely miles off it, but we'll just have to wait and see. But what I do want, is for every team I've got in the correct position, I want you lot to subscribe because god damn, this YouTube thing is getting harder every day.